The student council beach trip should have been normal, until the Cujo sisters showed up in swimsuits, and Masachika was already in over his head before they even got there. The morning sun is already a menace, beating down relentlessly on the city streets. Masachika trudges forward with a gym bag slung over his shoulder, trying to ignore the sweat dripping down his neck. Too hot. He consoles himself with the thought that today is the student council's beach trip at the Kenzaki family's vacation home, hoping the ocean water will make this misery worth it. He's actually looking forward to the trip, until the train station comes into view. He instantly freezes. The oppressive heat he suddenly feels isn't from the August sun, it's radiating from Toya and Chisaki. They're already waiting by the entrance, enveloped in a sickeningly sweet couple's aura, fingers interlocked as they stare deeply into each other's eyes. He seriously considers waiting at a safe distance, but Chisaki suddenly snaps her head toward him, locking eyes from afar. Her predatory radar is terrifying. Defeated, he accepts his fate. Looks like I have to go over there now. Thankfully, a luxury foreign car pulls up, saving him from third-wheel hell. Yuki and Ayano step out, providing a much-needed buffer just as Masha and Alya arrive. Masachika immediately feels underdressed. The girls are decked out in incredibly stylish off-day outfits, looking less like a student council and more like a pop idol group doing a photo shoot. Passers-by are actively staring and whispering, asking if they're famous. Alya turns to him with sharp intent. "Good morning to you too, Masachika." The casual first name drop lands like a bomb. Yuki pounces instantly, hiding a vulgar, predatory smirk behind her ladylike hand. "Oh my, Alya, you started calling Masachika by his first name?" Alya smoothly deflects, confidently explaining it felt too standoffish to address her running mate formally when he uses her nickname. Yuki feigns a sudden realization, putting on a masterclass in fake guilt as she apologizes to Masachika for being so friendly despite her rivalry with Alya. Masachika gets a terrible feeling in his gut as Alya frantically panics, assuring Yuki she doesn't plan to get in the way of their friendship. Yuki instantly snatches Alya's hand, her face glowing. "Really? Thank goodness. Let us put all that behind us for now and enjoy our vacation. Truce?" Alya agrees hesitantly, completely missing the sinister, no-takebacks grin Yuki flashes beneath her angelic smile. Toya breaks up the tension, calling for everyone to head inside. In the best of moods, Yuki lunges to grab Masachika's arm, but he elegantly dodges her grip. Undeterred, she leaps forward again, only for Masha to stealthily intercept, latching firmly onto Yuki's arm instead. Why are we locking arms?" "Because Alya won't lock arms with me." Yuki is momentarily confused, until she looks down and registers the sheer, overwhelming volume of Masha's assets pressing directly against her side. Swallowing her pride, Yuki immediately accepts this fate as the group makes their way to the train. The local train features old-school facing booth seats. Toya suggests splitting into two groups to build camaraderie, yet Masachika and Yuki somehow end up sitting directly across from Toya and Chisaki. So much for branching out. The air is thick with romantic tension, prompting Masachika to desperately break the ice by asking about their hobbies. Instead, Chisaki blushes profusely, thrilled by the opportunity to explain how they fell in love. "I first noticed I was interested in Toya when, before I tell you that, I need to tell you a little about my childhood." She dives into her backstory, claiming she used to be a timid, weak little girl terrified of men. Masachika deadpans, openly skeptical. "Wait, who's the story about again?" Chisaki explains the turning point, watching a fantasy anime. Masachika nods along, familiar with the brave heroine who stands up to the evil emperor. But Chisaki didn't idolize the heroine. She clenches her fist, an intense, slightly unhinged aura radiating from her. When I saw that scene, it hit me. I was like, oh, power is everything. Masachika's brain short-circuits as she proudly continues. "I realized at that moment that if you ever wanted to get anything in this world, you need to be strong enough to shut up your enemies first." She explains how she forged herself into a human weapon, so no man could ever look down on her again, then admired Toya for working equally hard to change himself. The couple begins staring lovingly at each other, completely lost in their own sweet world. Masachika and Yuki are forced to endure 20 uninterrupted minutes of unfiltered flirting, staring blankly ahead. I can't take any more of this. Finally, it's time to switch seats. Masha sits across from Masachika, while Ayano takes Yuki's place. Ayano completely fails to engage until Masachika forces her to lead the conversation. She awkwardly asks Masha about maid uniforms, but quickly murders the resulting banter with a flat, monosyllabic shutdown. Sighing, Masachika pats his socially inept childhood friend on the head. The game is over if you don't pass the ball back. He takes over, asking Masha about her daily commute. Masha explains she prefers walking or biking. Besides, trains are dangerous, aren't they? Masachika tilts his head, completely lost, until Masha sincerely pantomimes holding an overhead ring. You know, like how people injure their wrists while holding the hanging straps. His eyes narrow as he slowly connects the dots. He leans forward, his expression darkening with sudden suspicion. Hey, Masha? Did these people hurt their wrists when you were with Chisaki? Why, yes. It actually happened 3 or 4 times when we took the train together before. Masachika realizes with absolute trembling horror that Chisaki has been ruthlessly snapping the wrists of train creeps. He holds up a hand, his tone gravely serious. I think you should make sure to continue bringing Chisaki with you whenever you take the train from now on as well. Changing the subject, Masha leans in, glowing with gossip energy. Is there anyone you like right now? Ayano coldly shoots down the concept, stating her only duty is to Lady Yuki, though she casually drops that she has turned down 2 confessions in the past. Masachika shrugs confidently, aggressively declaring his strict, unwavering loyalty. I'm more into 2D girls myself. Just can't get into 3D. Ayano stares at him unblinking. In a rare moment of utter betrayal, she casually dismantles his defense. Are you sure? Because I vaguely remember you having a girlfriend in elementary school and… Masha's eyes light up with terrifying curiosity. Then how about you tell us about your girlfriend from elementary school, Kuze? Wait, what? Come on, give me a break. Masachika looks horrified, desperately glancing to Ayano for an out. Instead, she seals his fate. I am genuinely curious about her as well. Ayano? He cringes into his seat as both girls instantly lock onto him, trapping him in a nightmare interrogation for the remainder of the train ride. After a long trek by train, bus, and foot, the student council finally arrives at the Kenzaki family villa. Masachika stares in awe at the massive 2-story estate, but what really catches his attention is the pristine 80-meter-wide private beach right out back. Flanked by unscalable cliffs and dense trees, it's a completely secluded slice of paradise. It's completely closed off. Yeah, that sounds weird. Yeah, I get what you mean. Toya nods in agreement, already changed into his swimming trunks. And speaking of Toya, Masachika takes a step back, genuinely stunned. Stripped of his usual glasses and school uniform, the student council president is absolutely jacked. With his contact lenses in and a wide, muscular frame, he looks less like an honor student and more like a professional wrestler. Toya awkwardly brushes off the praise, claiming he's just stocky, before turning the tables and pointing a finger at Masachika's midsection. Masachika downplays it with a self-deprecating smile, silently lamenting his lack of real stamina. Oh yeah, I should set up the beach umbrella and beach bed first. All right. With a brief nod, Toya heads back inside to grab the gear. Left alone on the sand, Masachika waits for barely a minute before the sliding glass doors open. Yuki comes sprinting out in a pink plaid bikini. Big bro, big bro, big bro! She violently trembles, latching onto his arm. There's a monster. A real monster just showed up. Huh? A monster? Masachika barely has time to process her weird panic before the creature in question steps onto the terrace. It's Alya. Wearing a lacy light blue bikini and a sheer pareo, her waist-to-hip ratio is so impossibly perfect, it defies the laws of physics. Masachika's brain short-circuits. Holy damn! Yuki continues her existential crisis beside him, noting that Alya's figure is so flawless, she even has perfect rib outlines. This one's a little too modern for me. I get what you're saying, but it's not even just the curves. That waist-to-hip ratio. What the hell has she been eating to end up looking like that? She doesn't even look the same age as you. That girl's from another dimension. How many 15-year-olds actually look like that? She could make a top idol cry. But the onslaught of heroines doesn't stop there. Masha and Chisaki step out next. They're huge! Masachika immediately shoots his sister a warning glare. Hey, cut it out. Internally, however, he completely understands. Masha in a white bikini is a walking hazard, boasting the glamorous curves of a seinen manga cover model. That's enough, shut up already. He swiftly kicks his sister in the back of the head to stop her complex geometry calculations. Completely undeterred, Yuki rubs her head and pivots her lewd, uncle-like gaze toward Chisaki. Wearing a high-necked swimsuit, Chisaki sports a six-pack that makes Masachika's look like a joke. Female warrior and nun? Yeah, I get what you're going for. The siblings nod in unison, locking in the fantasy trope. Oh, the tank's here. Toya returns with the beach gear. Despite standing next to the hyper-curvy Kujo sisters, his eyes are unapologetically glued to Chisaki's abs. Obviously, no matter how you look at it, the president is not main character material in a harem hero party. Apologize to the president right now. Masachika's respect for the man skyrockets. Looking around to take inventory, he suddenly jumps. You've been here the whole time, Ayano? Ayano stands perfectly still next to him. Yes. Offering a polite compliment on her frilly one-piece, he is immediately interrupted. Yuki slides in, grabbing Ayano by the shoulders. Hey, big bro. The real value of this swimsuit isn't just the front, right? Ayano, turn around. Okay. Ayano spins to reveal the entire back of her swimsuit is cut wide open, held together only by an array of thin, crisscrossing straps. Masachika makes the fatal mistake of comparing the intricate straps to a tied-up pork roast. I'll kill you. Wait, I meant it looks like something a Hollywood actress would wear. Sweating bullets beneath his sister's sudden murderous intent, he barely survives the interaction. Once the umbrellas and sheets are properly set up, a sweaty Masachika catches Alya staring at him. Your swimsuit looks cute, Alya. Alya instantly looks away, her face flushing. Really? Thanks. Masha immediately latches onto Alya's arm with a teasing smile. Foo, see? Isn't that nice, Alya? Hey, too close. Pushing away from her sister, Masha inadvertently gives Masachika an uncomfortably clear view of her own plunging neckline. He violently averts his eyes, throwing out a defensive compliment just to maintain his visual purity. You look good too, Masha. Masha simply beams back with an innocent, completely unguarded smile. Foo, thanks. Suddenly, a finger pokes Masachika's thigh. Yuki sits on the beach sheet, holding up her hair to expose the nape of her neck. Can you put sunscreen on me? I'd rather let you burn. Dropping the act with a shrug, she admits she already applied it. Her Cheshire cat grin widens as she lays her trap. Oh, does that mean you would get nervous putting it on Alya? Huh? Alya flinches. Masachika waves his hands in an awkward panic, aggressively deflecting the question by rambling about Russian skin turning red instead of tanning. Desperate for a subject change, he seeks an escape. So should we head out? Yeah, but before that, Toya shuffles his feet, staring nervously at the sand. While we're here, why don't we face the ocean and yell, Yahoo, there's the sea! What? It's incredibly dorky, but the entire group takes pity on him. Yuki sets up a camera on a timer, and they line up barefoot on the shoreline. It's the sea! On Toya's mark, they yell. The camera clicks. A suffocatingly awkward silence settles over the beach. All right, Toya, let's race! Up to those rocks! Unable to handle the cringe, Toya, Chisaki, Yuki, and Ayano instantly bolt for the water. Left stranded with the sisters, Masachika awkwardly rubs his neck. Wanna go too? Masha pulls out a folded float with a casual smile. I can't swim, you know. Masachika tries to play off his shock, attempting to flee into the ocean, but Alya firmly grabs his wrist. We should warm up first. Finally free in the water, Masachika swims around, admiring the clear seabed. As he heads back to the shallows, he spots a body floating completely face down in the waves. Wait, Ayano? She casually lifts her head and pulls out her snorkel, utterly blank. Yes? Having fun? Yes, very much. Realizing she's just enjoying the ocean like a piece of driftwood, he backs away slowly and retreats to the shoreline. Lying flat on his back on the wet sand, the foamy waves wash over his legs. He closes his eyes. Ah, this is nice. Pure bliss. Until a massive wall of salt water crashes squarely onto his face. Bwah? What the? He coughs, wiping his eyes to see his little sister standing over him with a malicious grin. Did you enjoy that, big bro? Damn it. Dropping to all fours, Yuki childishly splashes the shallow water. So, when's the giant octopus supposed to show up? I've been waiting. That only happens in fantasy. If something like that actually showed up in real life, everyone would freak out. Winding up his arm, Masachika hurls a massive splash of water right back. It immediately escalates from a playful exchange into a merciless, hyper-competitive brawl. You're not beating me with those little hands. Abhua, take this. Just as Yuki seems to run out of steam, her expression turns melancholic. No, it turned out more boring than I thought. Lunging forward like a feral animal, Yuki tackles him hard into the churning white water. Drown! Drown! You little... He fights back, using his size advantage to slowly pry her off. But just as he gains the upper hand, the floating maid pops up out of nowhere. Ayano, now! Why are you here? Escaping their death grip, Masachika crawls onto the dry sand, coughing violently. Why did we have to wrestle in the middle of the ocean? Yuki shrugs with a smug, unrepentant grin. It's not wrestling, it's swimsuit sumo with a bunch of cute girls. Catching his breath, Masachika scans the empty water. Huh? The president and Chisaki aren't around? Assuming they are having a moment behind the rocks, he lets it go. But far out in the deeper water, Masha is bobbing along in her life ring. Is she okay? Squinting his eyes, he realizes she's steadily drifting further out. He launches into a rapid front crawl, urgently closing the distance. Masha! Oh, Masachika, you're a pretty fast swimmer. I'm surprised. She greets him with a troubled but cheerful smile. Ah, it's nothing. More importantly, are you all right? Didn't the waves push you out? Sighing at her utter lack of self-preservation, Masachika rubs his temple and gives up on logic. Masha happily extends her soft, delicate hand for him to tow. Then take me, okay? Pulling her along with a backstroke, Masha cheers him on. Wow, you're fast. You're stronger than I thought. But her cheerful voice suddenly stops. She leans forward in her float, staring intently at his shoulder. Ada? Masachika, there's a scar on your shoulder. He looks back, trying to be dismissive. It's an old scar. It doesn't hurt anymore. The atmosphere drops instantly. It's no big deal. I just didn't take care of it properly because I was trying to look cool, so it left a scar. Suddenly, Masha freezes. Staring into the water just past his shoulder, her eyes widen in pure terror. Yeah! She scrambles to escape. The life ring violently flips upward, sending her legs kicking into the air. Wait, what are you doing? That's dangerous! Water churns, and in a blind panic, Masha bursts from the surface, throwing her arms around his neck. Jellyfish! There's a jellyfish! Masachika is entirely overwhelmed. Her wet hair, soft skin, and very prominent curves press directly against him as she screams in rapid-fire Russian. Struggling to stay afloat, he squints at the translucent blob floating idly in the waves. Wait, Masha, that doesn't look like a jellyfish. I think it's a plastic bag. Chisaki floats beside them, her goggles raised to her forehead. Looking completely unimpressed, she reaches directly into the water and hoists up the gelatinous mass. You mean this? Tossing it away like discarded garbage, her deadpan expression doesn't waver. You don't need to be that careful. It's already dead. Chisaki then shoots a piercing, absolute zero glare at Masha, who is still wrapped tightly around Masachika. So, how long are you going to keep hugging him, Masha? That's... Flustered and sporting a guilty smile, Masha untangles herself and awkwardly wades back to shore. I'm sorry, Masachika. Thank you. Nah, I'm just glad you're okay. I'm gonna go swim a bit more. Masachika watches them go, sinking lower into the cold water. Trapped by the unfortunate biological reality of being a healthy teenage boy, he has no choice but to stay submerged.